Impromptu for all you people out there considering rescuing a dog, taking on a rescue dog, taking on a rescue puppy, or accidentally buying a puppy from meth addicts in a parking lot. Watch this first. How many times have you gone in to look at puppies with your kids or your spouse, saying, no way I'm getting a dog, and then you look at one, it looks at you, and then suddenly you have a dog? Well, it happened to me. Found some meth addicts selling puppies out of the car. I figured I have to save one of these dogs. I already have a good dog, so it shouldn't be that hard, right? Well, sometimes we get really lucky and a rescue dog is perfect. But let's raise a puppy together and see what it means. Okay, here's how it happens. I'm gonna give you the whole secret to get out of there without making a mistake. Don't look at the puppy in the, yep, it's over. She's yours. Stop looking. Nope, don't let her do it. It just went Superman looking at kryptonite, buddy. Okay. Now that you've decided to take home a cute, adorable working dog, Border Collie, Australian Cattle, Australian Shepherd, McNab, you name it, we're going to talk about how and what you need to do to take care of a working dog. Border Collies, German Shepherds, Australian Cattle Dogs, Australian Shepherds, any of the high energy smart breeds. They're tough, but they're fun. If you're not careful, it'll turn into a shit show. We can't do this without me telling you all about Lester. I would not have taken this on if I did not already have a trained adult working dog. So real quickly, I'll give you a rundown of how I did this with Lester. It was not hard, but it wasn't easy. Lester is the most amazing dog I've ever owned. He will pull me on a skateboard, not uphill, but he'll pull me without complaint. Very hard to tire out. And in fact, tiring these dogs out is the key. A couple things I'll tell you about Lester. He was not an easy dog. He was a crazy puppy. I mean, he broke all the rules, got on tables, did things that would just make anybody crazy. But look, I'm not one of these overly ambitious dog trainers. You know, you see some people with clickers and treat bags, and I don't use treats, and I'm pretty lazy. I mean, here's Lester when I used to tie him to a tree. The biggest part about training one of these high energy dogs is to just wear them out. Introduce them to as many other animal breeds as you can. Now, we lived near a beach here on the Puget Sound. He started to swim with Fletcher. Fletcher was a golden retriever. Great energy burn. He also is a herding dog. When your dog wants to herd waves, let him herd waves. You're gonna have to be comfortable with the dog being off leash if you're gonna raise one of these types of dogs. It's really rewarding, but it can be a little testy, especially if you have one that wants to run. This is what a working dog looks like when it runs enough. And I like to get him looking like this 2 or 3 times a day, especially as a puppy. So we started to go bigger and bigger with the sticks, just anything that would wear him out. We would figure out a way to do it. There's no question in my mind the most important factor in determining how Lester is as a dog today is the dogs we raised him around. Fletcher being the first, an 11-year-old golden retriever. They were inseparable. He learned everything from Fletcher. From the first competition, chasing the stick. Fletcher wasn't used to competition. As you see how he used to win. Can't beat him with your body, beat him with your mind. But I just kept him in front of every dog I could. My stepmom's dog. I mean, I just put him in front of dogs. Had him play with emus for a while. It's really, I just socialized him every chance I got. And not on leash, off leash. I think off leash is key to why he has so much confidence and is just such a great dog. He listens, he feels. So the number one on raising a working dog, keep it busy, keep it active. If you're not an active person or you live in an apartment, think again. So let's just all agree Lester turned into an amazing adult dog. He listens, he's great off leash, he really gets along with other dogs. It took a lot of work, but it didn't take a lot of effort. And I'm gonna hopefully explain what I mean by that. So we would take Lester everywhere. If you're gonna raise a working dog, you gotta be prepared to take him everywhere. They wanna spend the most time with you than any other thing. And that creates the stronger bond. The stronger the bond, the more the dog is gonna wanna please you. And we'll talk more about that bond and what it can do to a rescue dog and how you can really damage a rescue dog if you're not careful and not prepared for it. So we would take Lester to the creeks. He'd clean the creeks out. We'd take him to the beach. He'd herd the waves. Take him to the woods. He likes to balance on logs. I mean, every place we go, he has a different activity. Try to keep their minds busy and their bodies exhausted. As long as you're doing that, you're most likely going to have a pretty happy working dog. And they'll never get tired, ever. Well, I take that back. I did almost kill Lester once by taking him to a beach where the waves never stopped, and he never stopped running. I thought he almost died. Growled at the kids that night in the back of the car, and that's not Lester. So, very, very important to keep these dogs working. And it's not tough. Just get a schedule, but if you live in an apartment or in the city, I do not recommend you get a working dog. Any of the shepherds, Australian anything, it's just too confined to space. And you're gonna end up adopting it out again, and it's gonna have its heart broken over and over and over and over. Now, it should be a little harder to adopt a dog, I think. But the problem is, like the dog I just recently got, we got it from some pretty sketchy people. So they're not making sure people are prepared for this. They just want their money. When you break the heart of a rescue dog, think of it like a child. If a child is born, bonds with its parents, and then those parents give it away, that's going to damage the child pretty significantly. Same with the dog. You bond with a dog and you give it away, that dog feels, especially an intelligent dog, that dog feels just like a kid feels when they're abandoned by their human parents. So it's very important that you take on a dog that you know you can handle, because you cannot give it back. I mean, people do, but you shouldn't. So here's Rainy's story. It's going to be pretty basic, but hopefully it'll give you an idea. And then if I get requests to get into more detail on this, I will. Remember, you're never gonna know if you're getting a tenacious dog, a timid dog, a nervous dog, an anxious dog.
Hey!
Here's some
No
video of
attacking the
Rainy.
driver. No attacking
Not
the driver.
right when we got
No,
her.
sit down.
She'd been around for a few
Sit
weeks.
down. Turn around.
But
sit down. Sit down.
She was
Sit down.
probably the most tenacious dog I've ever
Thank
dealt
you.
with. It's unbelievable. Now, I didn't take any video the first day we got her, but right when we got her, we took her to a friend's house where she got to know Lester and 2 Jack Russell Terriers. And she did great with these dogs. I mean, she was really mellow. She was just this little ball of like warm fleece. And she liked to dig a little, but thank goodness we had a little property around the house, so it worked out. Lester was not loving her, but he was being nice to her. You could tell that he wanted to help me. And I say that with all sincerity. He literally would herd her when she tried to give me too much attention if I was working. It was unbelievable to watch. I mean, they were like 2 little wrestling buddies for weeks. I mean, watch some of this.
He was so close to the water that one of the crocodiles...
She kept getting more and more tenacious, just pushing Lester. All hours of the night, didn't matter when. She had so much energy. Lester and I play frisbee a lot, so of course she wanted to take the frisbee. Lester's like, no, I'm taking that back. I mean, the remote control, just watching these dogs learn is fascinating in itself. Watching her be manipulative, watching her be tricky, watching her pick up on how she can fool Lester, her getting angry. See, she can't jump up here. This is before she could get on anything, and since Lester could jump up, she didn't like it. So when she didn't like something, she told you. And Lester would come and rescue me again. It was unbelievably great. But look, this dog, because of how it was reared, came home and there was poop all over the house. She was the hardest dog in the world to potty train. A lot of times when dogs are run through puppy mills, the people are so lazy, dogs are born, the mother dog leaves because nobody cleans up the turd. So the puppies learn to live in filth and shit and piss, and they're just used to it. So they just have no problem going to the bathroom in the same area where they sleep. It sucks, but it's something you got to deal with. One of the mistakes I probably wouldn't make again is I started to feel bad for Lester because I brought this new puppy home. So I wanted to give him a treat, but I didn't want to give her the treat because she was just too young. So she saw me give Lester a big hunk of prime rib. And ever since that point, she would freak out if I walked in the kitchen, thinking she's going to be left out. This dog did not want to be left out. In fact, she wants to be the alpha, is what I figured out. She's still working on that today with Lester. Now, like I said, these videos are, I'd say 3.5 months old before she was fixed. And as we get into later videos and you see her kind of develop, it'll all make more sense. But I really don't use treats. I don't want a dog to depend on having to get a treat in order for it to listen to you. I do use treats, but they just get them when they least expect them.
Hey.
I'll tell you what though, if I didn't have Lester stepping in, playing with her when she wants playtime, I would have gone crazy. I could not have raised this puppy in the situation I was in with 2 kids without him. So I'm here to tell you, if you're going to take on a rescue dog, have another dog. Have a neighbor's dog. Have a place where this dog can spend a lot of time with dogs. If you get one and think this dog is going to be your companion and it's for you to snuggle in bed with, you're getting a dog for all the wrong reasons. Now, I do allow the dogs in the bed. I snuggle with the dogs. I've had 2 failed marriages. I decided to take up dogs instead of women. Sue me. But it's cute when they start to bond in bed. Now, you eventually have to find a timeout place for your dog. I got her crate trained early. I did not want to leave her in the house if I had to go somewhere without dogs. She would do this pretty much non-stop. It was hilarious. I have lots more video of her in the cage, and we'll put some of those out later if you guys would like to see them. Anyway, hopefully this will help you at least understand a little bit about what it's going to take to rescue a working dog or take on a working dog. It's not easy, but it's extremely fun and extremely rewarding if you do it. Thanks, everybody. Show me a truffle. Nope, that's an old one. You got one? You got one? Let me see. Let me see. Yeah, good boy.